Episode 157 of the Mile High Show, kicking back at Big Daddy E's Barbecue in Chino Valley. Check them out at, what's their website? BDEBBQ.com.
I'm looking all over the window here.
Well, he's got a couple of them up there. I think they're the wrong ones because we just relaunched his. He's adding some online ordering, so you can put your orders in online, just come in, pay for them online, come in, pick them up, and be on your way, because he does get pretty packed out, especially when the weather's nice and the patio's out going. Today it's a little chilly in Chino Valley, and I'm sitting out on the patio with Darin Mahoney. What's going on, man?
Like you, just kind of hanging out, getting this first little blast of what feels like winter is to come.
At least fall. It
is.
Did you catch some of that little drizzle earlier?
We did not. I left my lawn tractor outside last night, and apparently we got a little bit of the sprinkles, but I heard Prescott got it pretty good.
Yeah, I saw some people posting on some of the forums on Facebook and that they were getting a little drizzle in Prescott, and then I was telling my wife this because I was doing some work in the house, moving a bunch of gear from inside to the garage and getting the photo studio rebuilt. I had to tear it all down for some road jobs this week, so I'm putting it all back in. And it was all gray and windy, and she was heading out. She was supposed to be somewhere at noon.
Oh, man.
And I said, hey, I just saw online it's raining and it's drizzling in Prescott. And she was going to be outside with some friends doing some stuff. So I said, you might want to check with them. She goes, no, I'm sure it looks fine here. Then my son and I ran down, an unofficial, not a real sponsor, but a good guy, Tom's Print and Sign here in Chino Valley on the highway. He's doing some work for me, some big banners. So me and my son jump in the car, and we run down to go drop off a thumb drive to get some things printed, and we start getting hit pretty good right up by us.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good drizzles, where we needed the wipers.
And we needed it. I don't think we got anything in October.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
But a little drizzly, so I get back home, and sure enough, she was still there. She goes, yeah, they called me and said, we're not going to do
what
we had planned. Yeah, but then a little bit drizzle, a lot of wind, but it was dry after that. I was expecting it to start pouring.
Yeah, it started getting the leaves down out of the trees. You're starting to see that everywhere now.
Yeah, but it's nice. I'm not a cold weather guy. I like heat. This is too cold for me.
Where are you originally from?
San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay.
Our heat waves were in the 80s.
Yeah,
and there was we were right on the bay. We were in Hayward, between Oakland and San Jose, right on that East Bay. And we were right on the Hayward ended at the bay. Mm-hmm. So our house was 2-3 blocks. I'm exaggerating. It's probably about 2 miles from the marshland. We used to ride our bikes there. We'd go ride our bikes out there when we were kids and crawdads and throw rocks in the water and stuff. And walk out on the mud when low tide. So it was close.
Right on.
We always had that bay air, the wind coming off.
Your temperature dictated what the ocean was going to do.
Yeah, well, we never had any. I mean, our heat waves. If we had 4 days in the summer that was over 80, that was a scorcher, and it was always accompanied by a breeze.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I'd be cold in the winters. In the summer, and then our winters were. I mean, we had a little bit of snow that hit the ground and immediately melted in Hayward.
Right.
Maybe 3 times in 45, 50
But
years.
always that cold, damp.
Yeah, but it was never even that cold. It was pretty moderate. It was not. It was all right. And then, so it always stayed, our cold was, if it was in the 40s, that was freezing. You had frost on your windows.
Right.
And I always wanted the heat. I'll take the heat. As long as I don't have to wear, if I can be in flip-flops and shorts and a loose shirt.
I hear you.
I'm happy.
Yeah, unlike Garrick here, who's got to be slaving over the stove cooking his fine beef here.
I almost fell out.
But no, great on
my jobs. I mean, since high school was taking pictures and stuff. So
you got to lug around gear too if you're Cameron. You're down in if it's 115 degrees.
Cases with rollers on them. Who cares now? I'll take 105 in Phoenix as long as I can be comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, you put me in a shirt and tie, no. Weddings?
Right.
No. If I'm shooting a wedding, I want it 45 degrees. I want it. That's fine because I got to wear socks and pants.
And you got to move around. Yeah.
But usually I'm not a fan of winter. I don't like it. I don't like the snow. When we first moved out here and we got a little bit of snow, that first year, I was like, I didn't know it snowed here. Didn't do my research.
But did you find that in the mornings, though, the morning and that evening parts were probably the worst, but in the day it kind of got to a comfortable something you could do.
Well, here, yeah, because we could get 6-7 inches of snow and it'd be melted by 1 o'clock in the afternoon,
right? And
sun shining, and that. So it wasn't that bad. It's just a shock for me not doing my homework and going, I'm going to Arizona and it snows. Wait, where am I moving? What?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I'm finding as I'm getting older, especially with my son Anthony, I look forward to. He likes the colder weather. He likes the snow. He likes to play in it.
He likes the seasons.
Because that's all he's known.
Because Phoenix, you're not going to get that.
Yeah,
you get 1-2 seasons. What? Cool or
hot? Hot and
that's it. Hot and cold.
Hot and not so hot. He likes it, and so I'm enjoying it. And then again, as I'm getting older, I tell you what, it used to drive me nuts if it was too cold or rainy. And I had stuff to do. It's like I'm wasting time, and now I'm like, hey, it's raining. I don't have to do nothing.
Right.
That's a couch and a remote.
That means an off day for me.
A book, and I'm sleeping. So today I was telling you before we started up, I was sitting on that couch going, I got to go though.
It's easy to do, and I hope it isn't that way come Sunday because I will definitely take advantage of it.
When we talked last, we were with Les Lyman over at your place,
yes,
and you were just getting ready to hit the road. Mm-hmm. Soon went up through Colorado. And stuff?
Went up through Colorado, and we maybe 5 or 6 stops. I think our tour we left here like early in the morning and drove all the way up into Cortez and Durango.
Yeah,
and got situated for our shows the next day, but it was a very enjoyable tour.
Who's we?
That would be Sherry Finzer and Will Clipman, along with a really famous harmonica player, Art Patience. Yeah. And we joined forces to set up a tour, and we did some house concerts. We did some very old theaters in some of the old mining towns up in Colorado, La Vida, and places like that, as well as we were in Grand Junction and over to Colorado Springs, and it was it was kind of the perfect time to go out on tour because the weather was just beautiful. We actually got to witness the eclipse up in Gunnison, Colorado.
Oh, nice!
Yeah,
Eric just cruised by with his
Eric
clothes.
also does laundry.
Are you gonna be modeling some stuff for us?
Okay, all right. We get to describe it here on the radio.
I noticed he didn't have any pants.
I love how he holds his hand on his hip as he walks by. I believe that's called sashaying.
I'm worried that none of that had pants on them.
No.
So if he's just coming out in his tidy whities and his nice clean pressed starch shirt, I'm a little worried.
Waiting for that Bob Seger song to turn on. Just take them old records.
He slides through the kitchen,
holding a brisket,
doing his best Tom Cruise.
Jeez.
Now, walk me through how you set something like that up. Because I'm trying to wrap my head around how things like that are done. I've been talking with some comics recently who were getting ready to do a self-promoted tour through starting in Phoenix down to Tucson, across New Mexico, into Texas and beyond, and then loop back around through Colorado. And they're doing it all on their own,
right?
Trying to work it together. And it just, while they were explaining this to me, I was getting dizzy thinking of all the preparation. When you buy a ticket to a show, to a concert, to even a house party or a small club party, or in their cases, they were doing things like they had a couple of barbershops mixed in where they booked barbershop gigs at night.
Yep.
A lot of bar shows, comedy shows. For a customer, you walk into one of those places and your preparation is making sure you got your wallet, making sure you got your coat, and getting there, or arranging for your ride or whatever else. All the prep that they went in, I was baffled. Now, we didn't get into how they did it and everything, but for you guys, there was the four of you.
There was the four of us.
Now, what comes first? Guys sitting there going, this is where we want to go, or do you plan it out and then go, who's going to join me?
Right, and you start that off with you want to have a product to sell, a new product. So most tours start off with a release of an album. You get it out there. You create the buzzes by pre-releases or EPs. And then what it is, and a lot, and I give the record label, Hard Dance Records, Sherry, the girl that I play with and perform with, the flutist, she owns this record company. So me and her, when it comes time we want to do a tour, what the deal is you start off with dates. When would we like to do this? And then you have to check with Will Klipman, who tours all over the world with our Carlos Nakai, world famous Indian flautist. Yeah. You got William Eaton down from Phoenix, plays real exotic instruments that he handcrafted. So he tours all over the place. So we got to make sure he's available, and as well as with Art Patience, are you available? And he was getting ready to release an album, so we thought, wow, there's a double whammy there. Now what we do is we start getting together. Is where do we want to go? Where do we want to hit? And from that, this is what we want to do. We book if we want to go out for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
we book. Can we book a big show Wednesday, big show Friday, and a big show Saturday? And everything in between, we try to scrap out. We look for a smaller, could be a smaller venue or anything, a place that does live music.
Yeah.
And we'll get those on our off days, the Tuesdays and Thursdays and the Mondays, Sundays even possible. Sundays usually we like to have a travel day.
Yeah.
So from there you got to book the big show and then book the littler shows around it and then move on. And sometimes it works out beautiful. Everything's in a line. But, look at some of the tours out there. You'll see they're up going up the coast of Washington. Boom, they're in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And then they're all of a sudden they're back in the Dakotas or something coming like that.
The guy that books this doesn't have an atlas.
No. And you got to really be on top of everything. And you have to call the venues and keep now you get into the advertisement.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for us and what am I going to do for you? Do you guys you got to ask all these questions, and then the contracts come out stating that when I show up, we are going to perform regardless of ticket sales or whatever, like that. And so, I will say, Sherry Finzer is one of the hardest working individuals especially in the new age, meditational, acoustic, inspirational, adult contemporary stuff. She's one of the I've watched her go from just being a flautist in a symphony and then me and her playing together and her wanting to, hey, I want to learn more about this and how do we do this? How do we not have to spend money on the promotions?
Yeah.
How can we do this? And she built it up into an empire to where she's representing a lot of very famous artists out there that are on her label. If not that, she also owns the promotional company, RS Promotions. So she takes care of a lot of that. So what she does is she has the vision, and then she has, I'm right there beside her, helping her, doing what I can. And so it does. It takes a lot of planning. That tour we just took was almost a year in the making.
Wow.
And, and it turned out great. We had really great turnouts everywhere. It was nothing but a blast. You also want to pick people you can travel well with.
And how were you guys traveling?
Well, me and Sherry traveled together. We drove in my vehicle. We loaded up all the equipment from guitars to sound. We brought our own sound systems.
Gotcha. That was going to be
and then the other vehicle was Art and the intern for Heart Dance Records, Jonah B. Boone. Jonah was actually filming a documentary.
Oh, nice.
And so the whole trip, he was just kind of like a silent person out there taking these videos and asking questions. After every show, he'd go to the audience, and unbeknownst to us, so he knew what he was doing. And he went out there and talked to the audience. What did they like about the show? How did they feel during the show?
Yeah.
And what made them want to buy the CD. And we just got done looking at one of the final edits of the documentary. And as an artist touring, you don't really get to see a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. You're packing your gear while
I'm packing, and we got to go out and sell the CDs, sit at the table and meet and talk to people. But after that's done, I'm running back and I got to go pack up because we got to be out of there.
Yeah.
Either to the place where we're staying or we're on the road trying to get to the next place. And so that's my job. And then Sherry takes care of kind of more the finance part of it. She takes care of the tickets and gets the money, the business ends of it. So I don't get to see that. So by watching this, one of the final edits on the documentary, it just made me realize why I like doing the tours.
Yeah. Now, is he? What's the filmmaker's name again?
Jonah Boone.
And he's an intern for the record label.
He was an intern for the record company, as well as now he's moved off and he's down in Florida, and he's going to be doing some stuff down there. He's also, God, I hate pigeonholing it because he's such a phenomenal artist. Hip hop, but spoken word, and he's just, man. It was funny because people would call us a new age band or a new age outfit. Meditational music, stuff you'd hear maybe getting a massage or whatever. But his stuff, we brought him out in Grand Junction at the Performing Arts Center, and it was a surprise to him because it was the last show on the tour. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, we want to bring up a person that's been doing this documentary for us. And we got to know him, and we knew what he does, and we brought him up, and we played a real funk kind of jazz in an A minor kind of thing. And he got out there, and most of our audience is an older crowd, and by the end of the song, he had everybody up in the air with the hands waving like they just don't care.
And nobody filming that part of it?
No, nobody was filming it. He had set the camera down, so all he kind of, as every photographer knows, make sure the camera's off because all he got was a lot of feet walking by. But it was, it was cool because it was mixing of cultures.
Yeah, yeah.
And we did it a couple times. We were at an old cabin in some old mining town. We just got our instruments out sitting around, and you could tell that he's got his own craft, but he also had an eye with the camera and shooting A rolls, B rolls, interview rolls, so you can mesh them all together. So for people like you and him, I respect that a lot because you're having to tell a story, not if it's with your radio show or if it's with the pictures that you take, which are phenomenal. There's stories to those.
Yeah.
And that's an art in itself to me.
Now, is this project, this documentary, is it independent? Is it his, or was he doing it
He's
for
doing
the
it
label?
for the label.
Okay. Now, when is the public going to be able to see that?
We're gonna be shortly releasing bits and pieces of this.
Okay.
Kind of, as you do in the music
Little
business, teasers. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hopefully do a kind of a fan appreciation show.
Oh, nice.
And get people to come out, and we may do that at the barn here up in Chino.
Oh, cool.
And so we'll have, the bands, Trilog and Art Patience.
Yeah.
And, we'll have some, it's just an outdoor atmosphere. People bring their lawn chairs.
Nice.
And then we'll have a screen up there. And what we'll do is, while we're doing the dinners or whatever, eating, or people, barbecues, we'll have that up playing so people can sit around and watch it, and then watch the performance of the show that we did on tour.
Any kind of target date?
Probably spring. As you know,
Spring.
Chino, when it starts getting a little spring, we haven't solidified a date on it yet. But that's kind of the talk with it. But you'll be able to, through Heart Dance Records Facebook page or my Facebook page, through that.
We should have done that right at the front.
Darin Mahoney, it's Darin, Mahoney, Mahoney. But Sherry Finzer, and our trio is called Trilog, like dialogue, but Trilog. Yeah. And just check those out. We try to keep things interesting, try to keep a kind of a story about what we do, because what we do is real. And we like to, because people spend their time and their money buying our products and our CDs, there's an attachment there, and they want to see the video of when we were stuck in a traffic jam in the middle of Colorado, in the middle of nowhere. They were blocking the road because they were the dynamite or whatever. We pulled up. Right when we pulled up, Another One Bites the Dust came on by Queen. My door and Sherry's door flew open at the same time. This wasn't planned at all. And we started dancing in the middle of the road up in some mountain lake, and there was probably a half-mile back up behind us. So what we thought, Sherry goes, let's go give him CDs. So she grabbed a box of CDs, and we went running down handing out free CDs for people to listen to while they're in the traffic. But the thing was, there was a couple of them that rolled up their window real quick.
What are they trying
it was
to
like,
throw
what is it? It's a CD of our music. It's like, it's free. I don't want it. But pretty much most of them took one of our CDs. Nice. So it was just one of the moments, and we got that on film.
Cool.
So that's cool stuff to share, because you guys, the people out there that do buy bands' music or artists' music, you invest money in their career, and why not if you really like them, look at their personal life, because it's so available now with social media.
Yeah.
And I like people to know.
That brings up when you're talking about planning these out and reaching out and advertising and booking with the venues and things. There was a time not that long ago when tours were generated by the record companies based on airplay on the FM or AM dials, where you're being distributed, what markets are playing you hard, what markets you need to hit. All that's been flipped on its head with social media.
And the record companies aren't happy about that. They're trying to figure a way to...
Yeah. Now, because there's a lot of aspects to that, because people can get music in the non-traditional ways, whether it be downloads or Spotify and Pandora and all those. So the financial aspect of that, but just the logistics of how do you get your product out there? What are you guys finding? What do you... Is the record company pushing that, or are you guys individually doing that?
I recently did a study on my Facebook page, and I asked the question, besides, I wanted to ask people that weren't musicians.
Yeah.
And so I said, all those that are my friends that aren't musicians, I want to know how you listen to music.
I remember that post.
And now let me just step out of that box and come over to the musician side. In the musician side, we have nothing but other musicians telling us to share their Spotify playlist, their Spotify this. If we play it, we as artists get paid. We get paid a little bit more money than we probably do on Pandora. Not quite sure, but it's close. So if we share that, so what we're doing is we're trying to generate money for each of us as an artist. All right. A good share, and I don't have the statistics, a good share of artists out there, we don't buy music. Unless it's a friend that we're supporting.
Yeah.
Being a recording arts and science member, Grammy member, I get so much music sent to me.
Yeah.
And I truly do listen to them. And when it comes time for the voting, I want to make sure I'm voting for what I really think is good, not what record companies are paying. You get the Billboard Grammy magazine, and the first few pages are Taylor Swift, Weeknd. It's who the money is really dumped in it. To get a Grammy is not a cheap thing. So when an independent artist a true independent artist does get a Grammy, God, more power to that person, because they didn't need the
machine.
The machine, and that's where music gets lost. It's to me, it's processed. It's put through a song mill. It's a formula. Country music is a formula.
Yeah.
And with the I don't want to sound like that old fart guy, saying that my music's this, and I'm glad I was there. But the songs have kind of lost their meanings. Every country song to me now is that cliche. It's a red dirt road with the girl in her shorts, wearing my baseball cap while we go down with a keg in the back down to the river and jump in inner tubes and have a hot summer night. Yeah. That's kind of what it is. But I understand the market. The market is high school kids, college kids. They're the ones buying the money to go to these big concerts.
Yeah.
Where you get into the latter part, mine and yours music that we call our heyday. Yeah. With me, the 70s was such an impact with Poco and Pure Prairie League and stuff. John Denver. John Denver. There was such an eclectic mix that you could like this band and still like this. And it was a songwriting to me that felt like it was speaking to me. So I'm from that adage, like, I want the song to entertain me. I don't want the video. What was it? Video killed the radio
star. Yeah.
I don't want to look at something that's doctored up in skinny shorts, or a guy that's got his $40 or $400 haircut. I want to hear the song.
Yeah.
Don't you miss the days when you could open up a double album and just read it?
Got to have the headphones on.
It didn't care if it was Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Looked like they, goat roped up on a walrus or something. They're who they are, and you can listen and read about them. And it wasn't the image so much that they gave them that.
Yeah. The days that
the music.
The days come when a Twitter feeds replace liner notes, and I think that's a shame.
Yes.
And I use Twitter and social media as much as the next guy, if not more.
In this business.
And I enjoy it. There's a place for it, but there's something about, and again, throw on that old man hat again, there's something about holding a book and reading a book.
Yep. Just for the articles.
Huh? turning the pages.
Right.
And I love holding a book as opposed to read it on the phone or on a Kindle or on an iPad or listening to it. And I use all of those, but there's something about, and we were talking about it earlier, the weather's changing. There's something about sitting on the couch in front of the fire with a book in your hand that is just relaxing and peaceful.
And you're immersed in it. You're not sitting there anymore.
Yeah,
you're there. Whether you're like, I remember when I first read Lonesome Dove.
Yeah.
I remember I'd start reading it, and then it was just like watching everything fade, and now you're the camera.
Immersed. And you've got those when you have, it kind of spins around back to songwriting and music, storytelling. When you're reading a book, and I've done this with my favorite genre, mysteries, cop stories.
Yeah.
Elmore Leonard's one of my favorite. Lawrence Block, one of my other favorites. I'll read a book, and in my head, he's describing what the main character's wearing and what the car looks like as he's driving down the highway. So you've got that. But I have a voice in my head of what he sounds like and what this is like, or what the shapes and feels and colors are that aren't given to you, that aren't described. Then you go see that in a movie form, same characters, everything. You say, it's not quite what that's not what I envisioned.
Right.
How much more vivid and detailed is that theater of the mind, like the old radio shows. Same thing with music. I think I've talked about it with other songwriters where I get really drawn into the story, the narrative of a song. Tom Waits is one of my all-time favorites because he just paints such a picture. No matter what genre of Tom Waits, I'm looking at the old Barfly or the industrial or whatever he's doing these days. But it's very vivid, and I'll have a story. I remember his album or his song "Romeo is Bleeding."
Right.
I just had this whole movie in my head of what it was like. Some of his other songs,
You could have directed the video.
Yeah. And I've got all these ideas of what it means and what did you mean by that phrase. And then I read these articles, and he goes, "I don't know, they just rhymed." You just stripped away my. I don't want that inside baseball.
And it kills
stuff.
the buzz.
Yeah, so
it's like I've had people with the instrumentals that we do confused being one of my most played tunes as far as, but it's the most. It's my Stairway to Heaven. It's my my Freebird. It's my it's my swan song. If I never wrote another song, this song is my favorite. I could never write another one like it.
Yeah.
But for me to go out and play it, now when I do the shows, I do kind of explain a little bit. And I try not to, for my illness and stuff.
Yeah.
I try not to. I don't want to build off of that. But I got to give you kind of an idea of why the song is called Confused.
Where it came from.
I wasn't told I was cured. I was told I was in remission. And I wanted to hear the word cured. So that was kind of what that was about. But if I don't say nothing, and then after the show, I have somebody come up to me and say, "Hi, I have cancer," and that song spoke to me so well. And to me, it's one of those, whew,
yeah. How did that
transpire?
I didn't tell you that.
No.
But that's what it clicked, yeah.
So tell me, vibrations and music, and I know that sounds real hippie, but think about it, when you listen and all of a sudden in the God of the Vita or one of Houses of the Holy, something comes on, something that you enjoyed as a younger person, and you get chills, you get goosebumps. Yeah, chemically, it just gives something to you, And I think I can't. You can't go buy it in the store. You can't go buy it on the street corner. It's something that happens in your head when you listen to it.
Those triggers.
And then I think that goes way back into the Indians and the older times when you were beating rhythmically and stuff like that. It did something for us. And so I don't really know what we're talking about now.
Well, we got, and I got I think I'm going to rename Mile High Show. We're just going to call it Tangents.
Tangents.
Gotta go off
going. But I think that happened the last time we did this.
Yeah, no biggie. I enjoyed that. I think that's a lot more fun. But we were talking about how things get so prepackaged, and it gets you thinking. And there's been. You hear it portrayed in movies and TV shows and stuff. It's like, well, what kind of music do you like? I don't know. What am I supposed to like? What did they tell me? What did the powers that be tell me I'm supposed to like this week? Mm-hmm. That kind of
what is played constantly over the radio, and it's you get the cliches of bro country, you get the cliches of country artists crossed over to hip hop or hip hop going to the country. It's like everybody's grasping for some kind of a market that's out there, when actually myself, I've become a real fan of Jason Isbell. And then there's another artist, and you know who he is when I tell you the names of the song he sang and who he's played with. Tyminski, Dan Tyminski from Alison Krauss and Union Station, from Brother Where Art Thou, Man Constant Sorrow. That's Dan Tyminski. And interesting story, he's bluegrass. He's bluegrass as bluegrass can be. Listen to his older stuff, Wheels. But there's a story where Vici or something like that. He was a techno dance music guy. I might be wrong. So people listening to this are going to go, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But he's into the Coachella and stuff that techno dance. And he wanted to do a song with Dan Tyminski, who's this guy, mine and your age, plays bluegrass guitar. And Dan's like, I don't know who this guy is. I'm going to pass on it. Well, he goes home and he talks to his daughter. Says, have you ever heard of this guy? He goes, he wants to do a song. And she said, he grabbed him and said, do it. No. And now he's got this song. It's out there. It's called Hey Brother. Look it up, whoever's listening. And you'll hear him doing this with this guy. So he was doing a bunch of songwriting, and he goes, you know what? I've got these songs, and he started writing them, and the album's called Southern Gothic. Look it up when you get home, and tell me tomorrow what you thought of it.
Nice.
The songwriting is unbelievable. The titles, Bloodlines, Numb, Southern Gothic. It's how did I describe it to Becky Dalkey today? I said swamp grass with an overdose of Americana.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. What's it called again?
Tyminski. Tyminski. I'll tell you when we're done.
I'll just read.
Yeah, you'll read it.
I'm an idiot. People listening to this going, they don't know he doesn't know what he's talking about. They're used to that.
And again, Big Daddy E Barbecue.
So let's get back to your road. What first stops? You said Cortez.
We stopped there. We went straight through. Jonah had never been to Four Corners, the documentary guy, and we grabbed a bite to eat in Cortez, and we shot over to Durango, and we played. We were staying with a guy, Richard Cook. If you've been to Sedona, have you ever seen the xylophones on the street corners? You just pick up and you bang them. This is Richard Cook.
Oh, nice.
They're all over the world. He's a Grammy Award winner from Paul Winters, and he has this huge cabin in the middle of 10,000 feet above Durango, right next to the valley where Louis L'Amour's ranch was.
Oh, nice.
And he hired us to come there and play in this yurt. And if you know what a yurt is,
it's like a
big, long, round tent, canvas and wood. And this was a big one. It had an eye in the sky, big old sun eyeball looking thing that you could look out. And wonderful people. They treated us like kings and queens. There was an old bus on the property that reminds me of the Into the Wild, that kind of thing. But a beautiful view. And we played a yurt concert up there in our first show, and the place was packed. People just coming up the mountain. And, what's funny is we sell CDs on these shows. So we get paid to perform.
Yeah.
And then we make money off the CDs. Well, hardly anybody bought it. A couple people bought some CDs. But we made just as much money with the tips because that's how much they enjoyed the show.
Gotcha.
So that just set the mood for the next one.
Nice.
The next one after that, I believe, Colorado Springs. That was a long drive from there to do a show up there in right by the Garden of the Gods, if you've been there.
I've been to Colorado once, a couple years ago for a job, and we drove straight
Colorado Springs, the Garden of the Gods, is an amazing place. You'll have to check. It's almost kind of like a big upright formation of Sedona red rock.
Oh, wow.
So we played just on that side of the park. That was a great show, full house. I like the house concerts because they're a little more personal. You get to tell the stories. You can talk with them afterwards, and they want to share your stories.
And they're there for you. It's not like
it's not clanging glasses.
Somebody came into a bar and goes, "Oh, they're playing music, or they're telling jokes, or they're doing whatever."
Right.
Half the people vaguely know you're there. The other half are mad because you just turned off the TV they were watching.
You're supplying ear atmosphere for them. Your music in the background.
House show, theater show, they are there because of you.
Right.
There it is.
They come there to hear.
That's where I put my tablet.
Hey!
I got it caught on the
There
chair.
we go. But, yeah, that's exactly it. And when it's that way, I can go into my song a little more in depth.
Yeah.
I can really take the time to... We did a house...
You know they're listening.
They're listening. And we did this house concert last Friday in Anthem. And we had a Russian pianist by the name of Philip Sharpatoff. I'll try and post that on my
like
Facebook.
Vodka.
Yeah, he's Russian, and him and his girlfriend Kate came over because Sherry just released the album in Russia. He couldn't have been able to do that.
Oh, wow.
So he came over here to see the CDs, but he came over here to do a show with us, and unbelievable the talent that Russia has. But to see the experience through their eyes, they're used to they live in they're flat. But they came here and they were so appreciative to be able to watch somebody experience America for the first time was amazing. But to watch how much passion was in his music, and then to have him listen to us and watch him watching us the same way, it was
how cool.
Oh yeah, and it translated into the audience. The audience wouldn't leave. It was like they just wanted to stick around and talk with everybody.
Nice. What? Back to Colorado, what were some of your other memorable or misadventures? Anything?
Well,
other than the highway dance show you put on.
I won't put it. I'll tell you about some other stuff here. Let's see.
Because I know that could be tough. Traveling in close quarters.
It can
be rough.
And I won't say any names for those that might places. I will tell you an instance where when you do travel and you do some certain areas, you find yourself sharing the rooms together.
Yeah.
And there was one place we played, and I was asleep, and Sherry was sleeping on, there was a bed, and I had like this futon and all this stuff. So all the band members are kind of crashed out up
Dorm
there. room.
Yeah.
And I guess I was sleeping, and she said she rolled over, and there was somebody kind of bent over me, just like they were looking at me. So here's the deal. There's a code when you're on tour. If you see something happening, you let the other person know. So Sherry, I just told her, I said, "You got to be kidding me. You watch that and you didn't wake me up." But we laugh about it because the next day it was just a little weird. There was another time, this was in...
what was going on?
I honestly, I don't know because I was sleeping. But she had said something to the fact that she didn't really know who it was. It was just, dark and the moonlight was coming through the windows. But there was a lot of people.
Weed is legal in Colorado.
I'm telling you what. So I won't say, I'll tell you more a little bit behind the scenes about what was going on. But there was a lot of people that ended up crashing up there. And so maybe he was lost.
Yeah.
I said he.
I was going to say that I was talking to the guy that works at the Comedy Store in L.A., and we were chatting a couple weeks ago, and the thoughts come up. The conversation went to the paranormal because everybody says, Comedy Store's haunted, Comedy Store's haunted, Comedy Store's haunted. And we were talking. He goes, "Well, I've never seen anything, but I've heard this, and I just asked. I said, okay, now how many people that have seen something were sober?" And he goes, "Oh, no, a lot of coke involved."
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. The famous words, dude.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of stuff that I know wasn't there, but that's after 3 days up. And
that's funny. It's almost like we had talked about this before, but your paranormal experience. We were in an old mining town called La Vida, and it is small.
Yeah.
But a beautiful theater. Wonderful place. We stayed in a cabin that was like built in the 1800s.
Yeah.
The floor leaned, but it was rustic. So it was me, Sherry Finzer, Will Clipman, and Jonah and Art. Patience. So all of us.
Yeah.
So I had been sleeping on the couch a lot, or so they finally, you rotate bedrooms.
Yeah.
Sherry always got a bedroom.
Yeah.
But us guys would fight between the couch or the floor or the air mattress. So I got this bedroom. Sherry had the bedroom beside me, and Jonah slept on the couch, and the other guys down in the downstairs part. Well, that night, we got done with the show. It was a great show. We always afterwards got a bottle of wine, came back, we'd open a bottle of wine, and we'd sit and talk about the show. And one of the artists on there had tarot cards. That's what that is. And so he had that out, and he's, everybody's doing their stuff, and Jonah didn't dig that too much. It's not his bag tea.
Mine either.
Yeah.
If he did that with me, I'd get my own card.
So you could tell he was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So anyways, that night, everybody goes, we all got our wine, and I'm going to bed, and we're going to get up in the morning. We had to drive to Cortez or something. And about 2 in the morning, and I'm not, I just had the glass of wine.
Yeah.
I get up about 2 in the morning to use the bathroom, and it was right across the hall from me. So I opened up the door, walked in the bathroom, shut that door, left my door open. And I got done, flushed toilet, opened up the door, turned off the light. I could just see, my bedroom door or my bedroom there. I took 2 steps, and it was like somebody was behind the door. Slammed that thing so hard, harder than a dude coming home finding a Sancho in his house. I mean, it was slammed, and I could not figure out. It froze.
Yeah.
And I don't have a window open. It wasn't wind. It wasn't a tilted floor. I could not explain it. So I sat in my room the rest of the night with the light on. But again, let me tell you about Sherry. Sherry heard it. But she didn't bother to check and see what was going on. And I'm telling her, I said,
"It's the code of the road."
Yeah. I told her, I said, "Man, if that had been you, or if I said, I'd have been up, big brother whooping butt, kind of thing." I said, "You just kind of look up and go, yeah, that could be a problem."
Yeah. Well, I always say, if I'm going to die, I want to die in my
Sherry.
sleep.
But we had such a blast. I think one of my more... the moments that I think we did an event up in Grand Junction for CASA, which does child advocacy.
Yes, yeah.
And we've done some work with them guys before.
I'm paying attention. I'm going to pull up a Colorado map, though, so I can get a better idea of where.
La Vida. You got to go to La Vida. So we went to Grand Junction, and we had to do the Fox news show in Grand Junction.
Oh, nice. You were getting some good press?
Yeah, we're getting really good press. And one of the representatives that was supposed to meet us there wasn't going to show up from the organization. So we kind of had to do a crash course. We knew about him, but we wanted to know a little bit more about what was going on so we didn't sound like we were blowhards up there.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, we go and we do that show, and, you get these people that come up and tell you how much doing this show is going to help this organization out, and you hear the stories about kids, whether they're with parents that are drug addicts or something like that. These 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, even older, don't know how to navigate the court systems. And this gives them no, they shouldn't.
Yeah,
and this gives them I want to say a liaison, somebody that knows how to navigate the court systems for the interest of the child. And that was one of the moments that made me realize that that doing these kind of shows really does help people out.
It really shines a light on how while this is a music tour, it's a tour to get your art out there. Mm-hmm. It's intertwined with a bigger
get it to the masses so people hear about it. Because the minute I posted some stuff about it, there's a gentleman. God, I can't even think of his name now. He knew about the organization, and I got a lot of different emails and stuff like that saying that they knew about the organization.
Nice.
So it gets the word out there. So that, as much as having fun on the tour and doing stuff like that, but.
So where'd you go? I got the map up now.
All right, Durango. We did Durango, which is right off to the right of Cortez, and then take it all the way up to by Denver, Colorado Springs.
Okay.
And then come back down to the stretch.
There's Colorado
Springs, and you come down to somewhere right here.
New Mexico. Trinidad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
La Vida.
La Vida, right there. Oh. And then from La Vida, we went to another little town, Del Norte, which is, I think, maybe a little bit farther down this way. Alamosa, still
Monte Vista,
Del Norte.
Oh, wow.
And then we came back here and then went all the way up to Gunnison, Colorado.
You did some swirling around.
Almost 2,000 miles.
When I went up there, having never been to that part of the state before, I've done the 40 all the way to the deep south, and then cutting down, and I've done the 10 all the way to the deep south years ago. So I've been through New Mexico, before I moved here, I'd been through Arizona 3 or 4 times, never stopped for more than gas and a bite to eat. So when we loaded up our van a couple years ago and went up through, we didn't go through the Four Corners. We went through Albuquerque, Santa Fe.
Okay.
Up Colorado
to Alamosa. Okay, up there.
And we did that. What is that? I just looked at it. Highway 25. Mm-hmm. Where we were going was Fort Collins.
Okay, Fort Collins.
Had a job in Fort Collins. Mm-hmm. So we went through Denver. And beautiful. And it was time-wise, it was just, okay, we need to come back and do an untimed trip where we can just drive and go cruise around, because I'd love to hit some of those towns that we were seeing so-and-so this way, so-and-so that way, but we knew we were just heading through Denver, and that was it. We stopped and gassed up and ate dinner in Denver, and then that was it. Didn't even really see
Denver. If you
Denver.
ever go up to Del Norte, you got to stop over at I believe it's called, her name is Candy. It's Chinook. I think it's called Snowy Pines. It's they got cabins there and stuff.
Oh, nice.
One of the nicest ladies we met. We'd already had the room booked, and she saw us come in there, and she showed us the room, and she was like, well, this is you could sleep here in this. And then we were happy with that.
Yeah.
And we says, would you like tickets to the show tonight in Del Norte? And she goes, looks at, and this is the Texas accent. Are y'all famous? So we gave her some CDs, and then she went running down, and she goes, hold on, I got something better. And boy, did she ever. She went down and opened up this room. It was like a house with another apartment in the back. So she got her own area and all this. So she was just as sweet as could be. Nice. So I have to give her a plug on that. But yeah, I have an idea I've always had. So I've always wanted to start from Chicago, me, my wife, and my guitar, and a camera, and follow the old historic Route 66. Yeah. And I want to interview the famous musicians in each of these little towns, and do like a what's your story? What is a musician brought you here? And then I want to play a song with them, and I want to do that all the way down through Santa Monica. So that's kind of like that's like the big bash out. Yeah. When we're retired, I want to do that. I want to travel because, Seligman, there's some great people there. From Ashford, all the older towns. There's always that colorful Angel, Seligman.
Yep.
The barber there, and Snowcap. Yeah. The Delgadillos up there. They did listen to them tell stories about the old Mother Road. I'm a huge fan of the movie Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah.
To watch what it was like.
Just listening to something, they were analyzing that book, and it made me. I need to go back and read it.
Yeah,
I need to go back and read it. Tom Joad.
Yep.
Yeah. Somebody posted something up today on Facebook, and I can't remember who. I apologize because I don't remember who it was. Yeah, little memes people throw up, just looking for for people's feedback and comments. And it was basically it said, you have 2 weeks. Money's not an issue. Where do you vacation? And people are throwing up Tahiti, Europe, Ireland. And this shows you what condition my vehicles are in. My first thing says, I'm renting an SUV. Okay. I'm not taking
my vehicle.
Because I would get, but they run great, but it's just my, I'd get 3 counties over and tranny goes out. So I spent my 2 weeks getting a tranny put in. So rent an SUV. Pack the cameras, the podcast gear, and just start driving. Mm-hmm. Similar to that. I was thinking like going through the South again. I haven't been through there since the early 80s, mid-80s. But
got to go through there in the fall time. Yeah. Then head up towards the East Coast, see all the trees,
My mom did that my mom and dad continued the trip, and I came back.
Nice.
We had family in Mississippi, and I've done a couple of trips and spent summers in Mississippi.
Oh yeah.
Worked for the Columbus Post-Dispatch, shooting high school football games in '85.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Macon, Mississippi. One of the Noxubee County was and this was in '85, and I went back in '86. Noxubee County was the poorest county in Mississippi. Mississippi was the poorest state in the Union.
Yeah.
And the town of Macon was considered the bottom of Noxubee County.
Wow.
And that's where we stayed, Macon, Mississippi.
Wow.
It was fun, though. It was very interesting.
But you know what? You remember it, right?
Coming from the melting pot of the San Francisco Bay Area to Mayberry was a shocker. But it was nice. It was an interesting couple of visits. But that's though. I went out in July of '84 and came back in November, December, and then in '85, same thing, August or so, and then I came back in October, and my mom and dad went back and went up to New England. And
that had to be a cool trip.
But yeah, it was, and that. So anyway, what I was saying is this guy posted what would be your favorite vacation, and everybody was throwing these exotic locales, which is great. I would love to spend 2 weeks sitting on a beach with my, in the sun, drinking a cold drink. But I could technically do that, and we do it every once in a while by going to Havasu and laying on the sand and hot and heat. But I'm not learning anything. I'm recharging. If I had unlimited money, which was what this post was, I can go and veg out for free. I can do that now.
Yeah.
But if I have the resources and the time and the money to pay for the trip, I want to learn something and I want to be able to experience something. And for me, I think it would be the ultimate experience to be able to drive, not fly.
No.
You miss a lot.
No.
But
4 hours at a time, 5 hours at a time, get to a spot and hang out.
You mentioned Seligman. When we do our trips, we go a couple times a year to California, visit family, whatever. Going back, my nephew Zachary's getting married in March. We're going to go out for a few days. And whenever we drive the 40, I don't care if it's 10 a.m. or 3 a.m., I always pull off in Seligman and do. My wife, what are we doing? Do we need gas? Nope. I like to see the neon.
Yep.
I like in the daytime. I like to see the murals.
And a lot of people don't know Cars. The movie Cars was modeled after Peach Springs and Seligman.
The documentary on the end of that, they interview Angel.
Yeah.
And so it's just cool. I like to. I do it in Ashfork too. Ashfork's only a couple of blocks, but I'll do that if we're going up. I pull off. Go up one side.
Yeah. There was I think Juan Delgadillo, an Angel. Yeah. And I used to play every now and then with JD, who's running it now with his wife. You would go in there, and it was the old-fashioned. I remember the first time going into the Snowcap, he asked if I wanted mustard on my hamburger. And I said, yeah. And he took the yellow mustard thing, and he pointed at me and went, and this long yellow string, but it wound up on, it looked like mustard just going all over me. And the look on my face was like, I'm about ready to reach over this counter here. And then he goes, do you want a sundae? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, here's a spoon. And he'd hand me with a hole in it. And he goes, well, it's holy. It's a holy. So he would do that to all the kids. Yeah. Even the tough guys would come in and they're like doing this, but their girlfriends, their wives are laughing. Yeah. But it is if anybody's listening to this that would like to take a road trip, Seligman is a really cool town.
And it's 45 minutes away. It's nuts.
It is, especially from here. It's that's what I love about my folks live outside of Seligman. And when I was in Tempe, it was a 3-hour drive up there, and by moving up here to Chino Valley, I'm an hour away now. So it's a nice thing. So
what do you got playing up here? What's on your schedule? You'd mentioned last week when we were trading some messages. Last week you were heading down to Anthem. I think the following day. That was last Friday.
I got I'm working on a solo album. I got to go in and do a couple more tunes. And in that album, I'm going to have Will Ackerman on there from Windham Hill. I'm going to have Tony Levin from Peter Gabriel, his bass. He's going to be on a couple of songs. That's my next goal for next next spring. I want to really have that ready to get released.
Now, where are you recording that?
I'm recording that. I've recorded some of this at Will Ackerman's studio in Vermont, up in Brattlesboro, Windham County. I went up there and did some sessions up there with him and his engineer, Tom Eaton. And then I've done some of it here, and then I'm going to be going in and I'm probably going to be going over to John Herrera's Clamsville studios in Chandler to use him, and then to finish up on a couple of the other songs. And Jason Southard he's in Mesa. I like to have different engineers and people treat my songs.
You start getting the different influences and the different nuances.
Each one of them listen to the guy that I just think is one of the most, as far as instrumental acoustics, Will Ackerman. They've all listened to his music, and they have tried to emulate what he does. I don't want to sound like him, but I want the quality to be like that. And this December 7th, we're going into the same studio, Jason Southard's, with Becky Dalkey. Nice. We're going to be recording her album. Cool. So I'm going to be doing some acoustic work with that, and co-producing with her for that. So we got some. Becky's really been writing some great material. Her newer stuff. I love her older stuff, but her newer stuff seems to have come from a different place.
Kicked it up a notch.
It has, and so she's noticed. I just have just grown to love her stories.
Yeah.
And so with that, and then I'm also going to be playing with, the one and only Leslie Earl Lyman, Arizona's own troubadour. And you owe me $5 for saying that, Leslie.
Leslie Earl, not a serial killer Lyman.
No. I enjoy
names. He's up there.
And all joking aside, I enjoy his songs. Yeah. So for me to sit behind him and play, and to have him interested in me accompanying him on those is I want to be able to enjoy the people that I perform with.
Nice. Recap again. We're about there at
okay,
that time.
I know.
Recap again where folks can get the album that you guys were touring with, where they can see clips of the video and the doc, and the record label itself.
Yeah, the record label is Heart Dance Records, and you can catch a lot of the videos on YouTube. Heart Dance Records website.
Speak of the devil.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen.
You say his name.
You say his name 3 times and he appears. Leslie Earl Lyman. How you doing, buddy? Just sitting here. We were talking nothing but nice about you, weren't we?
Now we got to change that.
Oh, crap.
Well, dude, I'd like to point out that you saw me and said, "Oh my God." I'll take that as a compliment.
That was a compliment, man. Now we're just getting ready to button up here, but yeah, you can go to YouTube, check out a lot of the videos with Sherry Finzer, Finzer, DarinMahoney.net. You can come out and see some shows. I'll be up in Sedona December 8th, and the week after that at the Tlaquepaque at the chapel. They're playing Christmas songs and stuff like that.
Cool.
And yeah, just going to be around. Check out Leslie Earl Lyman here and Becky Dalkey, and check out my Facebook. I like to kind of keep people informed on what's going on there. But again, Mile High Radio Show, dude. You're Matt. You're a wonderful dude, man. I appreciate it.
The wrap up.
So make sure you weigh in on whether or not Darin should have a goat at his house. I'm just saying.
Goat.
Yeah, there's a.
Well, we were talking about barbecuing.
Yeah, we could be doing that.
Good stew.
I don't know. There's that.
And remember, in 2018, think Darin Mahoney for City Council in Chino Valley, Arizona.
we got the poster.
Tease it. That was great, dude. That was awesome.
Again, want to thank Eric and the folks here at Big Daddy E's Barbecue, BDEBBQ.com. Follow them on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, check out their their website, where very soon you'll be able to place your orders online. Come on in, pick them up, or when the weather's allowing it, and especially come spring and summer, sit back out in that patio and hear some of these fine musicians we've been talking about playing out there. And that's it. Oh, a couple things. Check our Facebook page, Mile High Show, as well as The Mile High Show, Twitter and Instagram for updates. We got a couple of big events coming up. and a lot of fun, and more info on our anti-sponsors coming up shortly.
I am looking forward to that.
Thanks, Darin. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care, guys.